coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
It's equilibrium, ladies and gentlemen. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Total tyranny comes into Mexico. Finally, the people are forced to resist. Ragtag bands with not 1/100th the armaments of the U.S. citizens begin defeating the corrupt cartels and the affiliated military groups. And the establishment has to admit it. Mexican government moves to legalize guns for people that registered them with them. But before, you couldn't get a gun, period. And now the people are ignoring that. They are taking back their legitimate power of the people because the establishment is illegitimate. And I've looked at the photos, the videos of the Mexicans that are fighting back. They look 10 times tougher than all the little drug dealers and the army people and the rest of it. Because they've got the courage to go against the whole agenda, the whole system, the propaganda. They've got what it takes. And it's going to be the same thing that happens here if the globalists push it. And so everybody better figure that out right now. Good men are always better than bad men. Problem is, good men don't want to fight. Good men don't want to dominate. Good men just seem to be reserved and humble. But when pushed, the sleeping giant will rise. This is just how Switzerland got its freedom almost 400 years ago with William Tell. It's how the Dutch areas got their freedom 300 years ago. It's how our republic got its freedom. It's how these wars happened in England and Scotland and Ireland over and over again. It's the same fight worldwide. It's the same fight of the people to not be slaves. That's why I salute everyone involved. Jesse, Zach, Andrew, Alpha Foxtrot, Jesus, David, Chris, Stephen, and others. We're going to go to your phone calls right now. Let's go to, I'm going to go to Alpha Foxtrot. He says he was involved in Mexican cartels, their law enforcement in the next segment. Let's go to Jesse in Texas. You're first up. Go ahead. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, Jesse.
Are you there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Alex. I just wanted to say I really hope that what's going on in Mexico, first off, I am a Mexican citizen. I have dual citizenship with the United States, and I have a lot of family down there. But I really hope that what's going on with the citizens getting their gun rights, or at least moving towards that, and what they're doing with the cartels will really set off. Oh yeah, I mean, if they had open carry in Mexico and we shipped 100 million guns down there, the crime rate would go down 95% guaranteed. I mean, the only reason criminals are running rampant is because no one's armed to resist them. And I've seen all the articles that I've seen so far. Also, that they're already starting to put kind of a negative slant on it. They're saying that that they're going to be corrupted, or they already have been. Well, they will. Nothing's perfect. Nothing's perfect. But the point is, they've lowered crime. The people are backing them because they're not shaking everyone down. These groups are 100 times more honorable than the cartels. Yeah, and I mean, I just really hope that, number one, that the CIA doesn't start to, infiltrate them and try and, Well, they won't be able to. They won't be able to because they're not centralized. Yeah. But yeah, I just really hope that people here in the United States see what's going on down there with basically peasant farmers and what they're willing to do to defend their rights. And that, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Well, they're already being so enslaved, they've been pushed to the edge. And notice, imagine the first groups to fight back 5 years ago. Now it's spreading everywhere. The tyrants are in deep trouble. They got so hungry to feed on the people that finally they push people too far. That's how it always works. Yeah. I just wish that here in the States that it doesn't take actually being put in the camps before we start to, Well, see, exactly. But it's going to get to that point. See, evil has a desire and a hunger. It's not going to stop. And so like a time bomb delivered by George Washington, who said that government's dangerous, like fire, a dangerous servant, a fearful master. Like a time bomb, the right to keep and bear arms was laid down against tyranny. And it will only activate like a steel guardian when the throne of liberty is truly approached. Great point, sir. Thank you, Jesse.
We're going to talk to Alpha Foxtrot, Andrew, Zach, Jesus, or Jesus, David, Chris, Stephen, and many others. Stay with us. I'm Alex Jones. Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfoWarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our immune support infusion blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfoWarsLife.com.
KLN, Los Angeles. Clone Radio. We play the songs that sound more like everyone else than anyone else. Clone.
Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. The Republic will rise again when you attempt to take our guns.
I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man.
The answer to 1984 is 1776. You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
And it's time for you to commit on the altar of God or your soul, your core values, that you're not going to be a slave. In the 20th and 21st century, we saw the rise of high-tech propaganda to sell tyranny and oppression as sexy, as cool as the moral high ground. Everyone's seen the fruits of it. You know it's a fraud. And Mexico, all over in 6 different states, the citizens have gotten guns. They're repelling the criminals and government. They're lowering the crime rates, and they're getting support by the general public. And the Mexican government is being forced to say, okay, we won't confiscate your firearms. You can keep them. Well, just come in and register them. The people aren't doing that. That's in the Associated Press today. That's what we're talking about. And coming up, very frightening piece of news. UN should encourage redistribution of wealth, Pope says. I thought it says thou shalt not steal in the 10 Commandments. The problem here is the globalists are the ones pushing this. The ultra-rich that aren't free market, that are against the independent rich and nouveau riche and middle class, they get most of their wealth through government. So it's a redistribution to them. And then as people get poor under globalism, they say redistribute what wealth is left, not under their control. We're going to break that down coming up. Also, an incredible report that's really starting to break nationwide in Reuters, Fox News, you name it. Secret Service agents reportedly told to protect home of former director's assistant. Yeah, I know, they use them as rent-a-cops and just to impress people and scare people. They're the political Praetorian Guard of Obozo. But let's go to your phone calls. Again, we are taking your calls. We got calls from folks in Texas and Alabama and Illinois and Wisconsin, California, Indiana, Canada. We've got many calls over the years from Mexico. I'd like to open the phones up right now. We're going to go to your calls here in just a moment, but I'd like to see if people can call in from Mexico with their take on this. This is a big deal. Mexico's hit rock bottom, 70+ thousand dead the last 6 years or so because of the gun ban. Total gun ban for the citizens, the criminals running wild, the drug cartels, the government connected to it. Just literally the sky's the limit. And only the people standing up is reversing it. Well, all the statistics show that. And it's another example of liberty and of how the people can prevail, like the French resistance. So the international line, country code in 512-646-1776. What's the country code for the U.S., folks in Mexico? Well, let's look it up and put it on screen for folks, because I always need it on there because I always forget it. We'll write it on that piece of paper so we can do it. Say that again? Yeah, just +1. And then you're able to call the U.S.? So it would just be... No, I think it's more than that, guys. That's inside the U.S. There's an outside access code, and we've been through this a lot. Because when you hear international shows that take foreign calls, they'll say dial country access code and say the number. England, it's 011. But whatever. How to call from Mexico to the U.S. That's the search. Or I'll do it during the break, and we'll give it out. Fantastic. Thank you. Here is the number. You'll know the access code. You're in Mexico. You can figure it out. You probably call the U.S. 512-646-1776. Let's go to Alpha Foxtrot in Alabama. What is your take on this? Is it exciting? Am I wrong? What's going on?
Hi, this is Alpha Foxtrot. I'm calling from a small town in a small county in Alabama. And what my take on the whole drug cartel system in Mexico is going on now is the people in Mexico actually had the kahunas to stand up to these people. They didn't want to see their whole country fall to hell. So they stood up for this. They got rid of them. But the problem is they are running into the United States with open arms from our own government, because what does our government think of? Their wallets instead of us. And what does drugs bring into this country? Money. They want them here. And they're supplying them a lot of things, too. But they're all the way out here in Alabama now. We fought down 2, and for those 2, there's probably 40 or 50 more in this county alone.
Oh, I know. The Mexican drug cartels are running rampant. The police are already being bought off by them. I mean, this country is going to collapse if we don't decriminalize drugs now.
People are being also slaughtered here, just like they were being slaughtered in Mexico for bad drug deals or losing $1,000 here and $1,000 there. Because, yes, that small amount of money is a lot to them. And it's happening like crazy. And people are getting addicted to this crystal meth. It's called ice, and it is bad.
Oh, I know.
It's like making zombies out of these people out here. And you know what? The government really wants this, because these zombies are going to be the ones that are going to want the drugs instead of standing up for their rights and their beliefs. They want this.
Great point, Alpha. Great point, Alpha Foxtrot. Thank you so much. And I want to be clear, I'm not for illegal drugs, but they push Ritalin, Prozac-type drugs on kids that their molecular structure is just as bad. The establishment ships most of the drugs in and launders the money. And the day they start busting big banks for laundering drug money, instead of harassing the general public, is the day this all stops. So you either shut down all the big banks or you decriminalize, which then brings down the price. So now the criminal element's not involved and not being fed by this. Zach in Wisconsin, what's your take on it?
Hi, Alex.
Hey, go ahead.
Hey, I just want to make 2 really quick points. One is that the only way for us to stop the Mexican drug cartels is for us to put the arms in the good people of the Mexicans. And we just need to arm them and just give them support, because if they get infiltrated, I mean, it's going to get shut down. America would have lost the Revolutionary War if it wasn't for the militia. That's what really drove us to, win and stop those, evil Britons that were trying to take our civil liberties. And I just want to say that also that we just need to support however way we can, because this will flood over to all other Central American countries. It won't just stop in Mexico.
That's why it's so big. That's why I call it a key event. And it illustrates how only the people could defend against tyranny. Only the people in the final equation could get the job done. And it just shows, just like in Switzerland 400 years ago, or England 800 years ago, or 1776, 240 years ago, it's the same story of the citizens restoring order, the good people standing up. And the power structure knows that. That's why every authoritarian system tries to take guns.
Yeah, I mean, our nation's history, the toughest military groups were the militia. Look at Rogers Rangers and the French and Indian War. Those are the guys we need that need to be in charge, that need to overthrow these evil cartel members. And it just needs to stop.
God bless you. I appreciate your call. We're going to go another call if we have time. If not, come back after break. So many people say, well, Mexico's poor. It has no money. The UN took over Mexico, pushed the rural populations off in the last 30 years under Agenda 21, forced them into Mexico City, whose population went from 15 million to 30-plus million, and then staged it from there with social engineering to push them to the U.S. That's the bottom line. Mexico has triple the natural resources, gold, uranium, oil. It's rich. But they can't ever get to it because a small ruling class